Allie's mom knew she had a strong kick even back in the womb, and from then on, Allie was always kicking a ball and saying she was going to play pro soccer. And one day, while she was kicking a ball against a wall, her skills drew even more attention. Her boss said, "Could you please stop that and get me those quarterly numbers I asked for?" Turns out Allie just wasn't that good at soccer. But she was a good accountant. That's why she switched to GEICO. She knew they could save her a bunch of money on car insurance, and she sure wasn't ever going to make that pro soccer money. No, sir. Everyone in the neighborhood knew about Bobby. Bobby, the basketball boy, they called him. Bobby wanted to go pro someday, so he was always out in the driveway shooting hoops. But one day, his mom came out and told him, "Hey, your wife wants you to take out the trash." His mom was visiting, and Bobby was a grown man. He had kind of missed his window. Plus, no one had ever seen him actually make a basket. But on the other hand, Bobby had heard how GEICO could save him money on car insurance, so he switched and saved. So it was all good. You know how some people just seem destined for greatness? Take the story of Dustin. As a child, he was obsessed with being a professional baseball player, played constantly, watched all the games, could tell you every stat. But around age 42, Dustin realized he was not one of those people destined for greatness. Never was a strong hitter, that Dustin. However, he did save a bunch of money on car insurance by switching to GEICO, proud partner of Major League Baseball. Now that was some greatness Dustin was destined for. Frank was obsessed with racing, possibly from birth. He drew race cars, he played with race cars, he raced race cars and race car video games. So, on his 16th birthday, when they handed him his driver's license, Frank hopped in his car, headed to the highway, and got a little freaked out. Those cars were moving awfully fast, so he took the back roads home, nice and slow. On the way, he heard how GEICO could save him money on car insurance, so Frank switched and saved and never drove very fast the rest of his life. As a young boy, Gavin loved playing football. He lived and breathed it, wanted to go pro. Why, he'd spend hours upon hours just practicing his touchdown dances. And one day, while getting fitted for bifocals, he realized he was never much good at throwing, or running, or catching, or even kicking. Yeah, Gavin's chances of playing pro football were looking like fourth and long. Very long. But he did hear how GEICO could save him money on car insurance, so he switched and saved. Then he did kind of a touchdown dance. At least he was still good at that. Jenny had a dream of joining the national bobsled team. She worked out relentlessly and knew that if she just refused to give up, one day her dream would come true and she'd stand triumphantly up on the podium. But when her kids reminded her that she was 52 and she lived in Texas, and maybe she started dreaming this dream a little late in life, she gave up on not giving up. But then she heard how GEICO could save her money on car insurance, so she switched and achieved that dream instead. Johnny got a toy golf set when he was 3, and from that day on, he was hooked. All he wanted to do was golf, golf, golf. He'd be on the links before school, after school. All he ever wanted was to go pro. And then, one day, when he was holding his grandson and thinking about his 12 handicap, Johnny realized it just might not happen for him. But you know what did happen for him? He switched to GEICO and saved a bunch of money on car insurance. So that was good, and so was hanging out with his grandson. This here is the story of Lawrence, who always wanted to play pro football. His parents supported his love of the game, sent him to special camps, and then, in college, pro scouts came to a bunch of games where Lawrence was playing the trumpet at halftime. Yeah, Lawrence was never that good at football, gave up by the time he got to college. But he also learned how GEICO could save him a lot of money on car insurance, so he switched and saved. So, this here story has a happy ending after all. Let me tell you about Pete, who loved hockey and always wanted to play in the NHL. Pete played since he was 3 and begged his mom to let him stay on the ice. Why, some nights he even slept in his hockey skates. Pete practiced and practiced until one day, when he was 47, Pete realized he just wasn't that good, so he threw his skates in the trash. But then he heard how GEICO, proud partner of the NHL, could save him money on car insurance, so he switched and saved a bunch. So it all worked out. Ricky always wanted to play baseball in the majors. He was playing catch before he could walk, practically lived in the batting cages. He was behind home plate more than he was home. And one day, after all that hard work, he found himself walking into a Major League Baseball stadium. After buying a ticket at the front gate, a nosebleed seat obscured by a pole, but he was in there. No, Ricky never did play in the big leagues, but he did switch his car insurance to GEICO, proud partner of Major League Baseball, which saved him a lot. So, all in all, things were good. Wes worked hard to make his dream of playing in the NHL come true. Every day, he'd be out playing street hockey, constantly. Townspeople would drive by and shout,
"Get out of the street!"
But Wes never gave up. Well, until one day when someone yelled,
"Get in the car, you're gonna make us all late to work!"
Because Wes was a 43-year-old accountant and he commuted with that guy downtown. So Wes never played in the NHL. But he did hear how GEICO, proud partner of the NHL, could save him money on car insurance. So he switched and saved, and made his other dream come true. They always told Will he was too short to play basketball, but Will never listened. Will let his work ethic do the talking for him. Always in the gym, always running drills. Will knew where there was a will, there was a way, and he was Will. But then, after his second child was born, he realized the pros were all way better than him, so Will gave up and buried his high tops in a tearful ceremony. But one day, he heard that GEICO could save him money on car insurance, so he switched and saved a bunch, which was awesome.